Now, why is this whole idea of mental models and sense making important to you as a manager, important to you as a human being? Let's put this theory a little bit in context. I'm going to introduce to you something that in management literature is known as the Pygmalion effect. What is the Pygmalion effect in a nutshell? The Pygmalion effect suggests that my beliefs, ideas and expectations of another person's behavior is actually going to influence that other person's behavior. Sounds a bit like magic, right? Like black magic or voodoo or something like that. But really, it's that simple. And has this been tested? Has this been scientifically verified? Again and again and again. There's something very interesting about this, the Pygmalion effect. Now we know a bit, and I say a bit because we don't completely understand how it happens, but we know a lot about why this happens. We have some clues behind the scientific principles because of which this effect might be playing out, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But back in the 1960s and 1950s, this effect had been observed again and again and again, but the science behind it wasn't really known. So I'm going to recount to you an experiment, one of the first experiments, the psychological experiment, studies that was done to test out and understand more about Pygmalion effect. Now this was done in the 1960s by a researcher known as Rosenthal and her colleagues, and it's a very, very simple experimental design. Again, things were not as sophisticated as they were now, but it's a very elegant study that was conducted on second grade students actually. So what the researchers did was they went into a school and they asked the principal to allow them to conduct a study on the students and the teachers. And once they got permission, they told the teachers who were teaching they decided to study one particular class of second grade students, and they told the teachers, all the teachers who were associated with those students, that they were undertaking a study to see how well the teachers could interact with the students without showing any sort of favoritism or being partial to one student over the other. So they said that they were going to conduct a test, let the teachers know about who the star performers were, and they were going to videotape all the sessions of the class. This wasn't the real agenda of the experiment though, and we'll find out more about it later, but what they really did, and the students had no clue about the study, they had no clue that what was happening, they were kids, right? They were not told anything. So hidden cameras were put in the classroom, a test was administered to all the students, and the results of the tests were analyzed, and the teachers were told that, let's say, X, Y and Z, these are the 3 star performers, these are the best students in your class, and now that you know it, share this information with all the teachers who are going to interact with this particular class. But we're going to videotape all your classes for the next 6 months, and we want all the teachers to behave as if they did not have any idea about who these star performers were, who the most intelligent and best students in the class were. We want them to treat everyone in a non-partial way. So they were given explicit instructions, and the classes were videotaped. 6 months later, the test was administered once again to the students. Results were analyzed, similar tests, and again, the same students, X, Y and Z, their results were quite off the charts. They were higher than everyone else. They came at the top of the class. Now, this would not have been very surprising, right? Except I didn't tell you what the real agenda of the experiment was. It was to test Pygmalion effect. So the first test was a dummy. These 3 names had been randomly picked out from the entire class of students. These were just random 3 students, and the teachers were told that these are the stars, and therefore, and this was done to verify Pygmalion effect, verify the idea that the teacher's expectations that these indeed are the brightest and best students in their class actually influenced those students' performance and made them perform in a way that after 6 months they were actually performing better than the other students. So now is this just one anecdotal study that I'm telling you about? No. Has this been retested, studied again and again? Yes, it has. In different contexts, yes. In a management context, yes. With adults, yes, this finding has been repeated with adults. You frequently find that a manager's expectations of his subordinates, of the people who work for him, land up crafting the performance levels of those subordinates. Now, how does this happen? That's what we're going to understand through the science, through investigating the science behind mental model sense making and how we make sense of stuff that goes on in our head.